Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon. I genuinely do not remember where we left off. It's been that long since I've recorded one of these. I know we're doing the Rumpel route. I know we found out he was a doctor pretty early on, surprisingly. And that's about it. So, let's go. I believe this is where we were. This is a dream that I have not had yet, so... You waited, but the children didn't come, did they? They promised they'd be back today. We even crossed pinkies. Promises are futile, dearest heart. But, I've told you before and I'll tell you again, people are selfish creatures. They'll always put their own well-being before others. No one does anything selflessly. To put your trust in someone is weakness, Cora. Even those that make promises will only keep them if it benefits them. And you, my sweet, were obviously not beneficial to those children. So they didn't like playing with me? No, they did not. Come here, darling. You do not need those other children. The two of us can play together as we always do. I think they did not like you, Miss Hildier, and you scared them, so... Or you killed them, for all I know, and made them not come play with little Cora here. I can always trust you, Mother? Of course, my love. Lies. My head feels foggy. Maybe it was because it took me forever to fall asleep yesterday. And then, to make things worse, I ended up having that dream. Mother, you're the only one I can trust, right? I slowly slide out of my bed and make my way over to my dresser. The little bag is still where I left it last night. I open it up and let the little white chocolate lily fall into my hand. Is he really trying to help me? I remember his face yesterday and his bright smile as he presented this to me. I slowly run my fingers across the delicate white petals. He couldn't have known lilies were my favorite flower. There's no reason to be sentimental about something like this. It's just silly. I'm about to put the flower back in the bag, but I stop, eyeing it once more. Slowly, I bring it to my lips and bite off a small petal. It's actually pretty good. I stuff the little flower back into the bag and make my way downstairs. I want chocolate. Not white chocolate. That white chocolate is not great. The market's not busy this early in the morning, but everyone's starting on their chores. At least, I assume as much when I see Anise and then Waltz, who's helping her stack things. Then I hear rising voices and realize that not all is calm. At least I don't have to pretend to be something I'm not. You say you're not pretending when you go around flirting with all the female patrons day in and day out. You cannot seriously mean all the drivel you spout. Karma and Rumpel stand on opposite sides of a table, staring each other down. Her teacup filled with what looks to be cool tea sits close to Karma, abandoned. Flirting with a lady is not a crime. It should be, though. One day your flirting is going to get you into even more trouble than it already has. I've never had a lady said I mistreated her, not once. Oh, I'm sure Minnie could attest to being more than slightly annoyed. You're only jealous that I can speak to ladies without a disguise, aren't you? Why are you trying to piss off Karma, bro? Karma slams his hand down on the table, shaking it. The tavern grows quiet. Waltz looks over, his eyebrows furrowed with worry. If you so much as make one more comment about my curse, then stop making comments about how I speak. Okay, but comparing you being creepy to him having to disguise himself as a woman so he's not constantly followed around is vastly different. Vastly different. The two aren't even comparable. Jesus fucking Christ! The two continue to glare at each other. It almost looks as if Karma might circle the table and slap him, but the fight freezes as Jurian strides up to the two men. It's too early for the two of you to already be at each other's throats. But he started it! All I did was make a comment. He was the one that picked the fight. There you go again, twisting words. Jurian stomps on the ground. The two men once again turn to look at her. It's my job to break up unnecessary fights, and I will do it. If you two must continue fighting, go do it somewhere else, like the forest, where you can't disturb anyone. Both men turn away from each other, obviously agitated. Rumpel's expression is cloudy as he makes his way over to the bar to begin helping set the tables. Jurian notices me watching. She waves at me with a terse smile on her face. Sorry you had to wake up to that, Princess. I shrug as I make my way over to Mr. Broom. It's like waking up to two children arguing. Agreed wholeheartedly. Jurian sighs before looking at me thoughtfully. Maybe you could have a word with Rumpel later. I've no idea how their argument even started, but maybe you can get to the bottom of it. I'm not a babysitter. But I heard the two of you were partners. Anyway, hopefully this doesn't happen again. Good luck with your work today, Princess. Jurian walks off, vigilant as always. I notice Garland looking at her from the bar, a slight frown on his face. I start working around the tavern, starting first with the cleaning and then with the stacking. Dora makes sad remarks about my slowness as I work, and I try my best to ignore her while occasionally throwing her insults back at her. It's as if she has nothing better to do, probably because she doesn't. The door to the tavern opens and Parfait steps in with a bright smile. She looks more energetic than usual. I wonder if this is because of Rumpel's medicine suggestions. Later, I manage to catch Rumpel and the two of us are both on a break. He looks pleased to see me until I mention Karma. Why were the two of you fighting earlier? What a sad day it is that the princess talks about another man to my face. Just answer me. I was getting ready for the events of today, as always, speaking to the lovely women who filter in and out of this place, when the beast appeared behind me. Even his insults are dramatic. Your flirting is distracting me, he proclaimed. Well, your flirting is annoying. But all I'm doing is complimenting women. I'm not impeding anyone's work. I thought that the only reason he was calling me out on such a thing was because he was actually jealous. You should have seen his scowl. And here we go. So I politely told him to mind his business, but he was relentless, and he continued to insult my demeanor. I mean... Well, I had to say something back, but I wasn't the one to start the fight. I swear, they both really do sound like children. No doubt Karma would be blaming Rumpel. Princess, you don't really think I'm so confrontational, do you? I think Karma is far more confrontational than Rumpel, but it does not help that Rumpel always snaps back at him. The two of you are both at fault. But Princess, in the end you were still having a childish argument. I think that Rumpel might try to protest again, and I'm surprised when he shrugs his shoulders and sighs. Yes, it was childish, but that's because that man is a child. I roll my eyes. Your irritated scowl chills my heart, Princess. I feel a tinge of excitement. Bro. I'm leaving now. I would have left a long time ago. There's really no point in having this conversation. It's a problem between Karma and Rumpel. It's true. They aren't children. They can figure this out on their own. Oh, Princess, my heart, why must you depart so early? I ignore Rumpel and leave him standing where he is as I return to my shift a little early. Honestly, I'd much rather focus on work than Rumpel. He can be just as tiring, if not more. Though after what happened last night, I don't think he's as terrible as I thought. The day's gone and Rumpel and I speak only briefly during our breaks. Every day I eat another piece of the lily until only one is remaining. What afternoon? Excuse me. Just before my break, Rumpel approaches me with a mischievous smile on his face. My lovely princess, how are you today? What do you want? Your cold shoulder is enticing. I have one more table to serve, don't bother me. But princess, I've decided I know exactly how to teach you how to be good. All of your other lessons have been useless so far. Please, just trust me. No. To put my trust in someone is weakness. I'm gonna teach you how to flirt. I'm sorry? I beg your pardon? No. Absolutely not. What? The first step to flirting is eye contact, princess. Wait, but why are you... Rumpel points at my customer, a young man sitting right beside the window. The second is to smile. Smile, princess, because I'm sure you look even more stunning when you do. Then you start a conversation with them. Body language is important. There are certain signals that key men into the fact that a woman is interested. I think playing with your hair is one. A gentle tap on the shoulder is another. I play with my hair out of anxiousness, so, I apologize to any men I have encountered in my life when I've played with my hair because I was anxious. And you thought it was flirting, because it definitely fucking wasn't. I should have expected Rumpel to spout this sort of nonsense. Princess, that customer's been waiting for a while now. Is something wrong? There's the customer looking at me expectantly. He's just some man, a usual customer that I see often. Oh, and princess, don't forget the compliments. Make them as delicate and illustrative as you can. I move away from Rumpel before he can muddle my thoughts any further. Already my feet feel like lead. I find myself staring at the man for far too long. The way he stares back at me, his expression is so unreadable. Suddenly, the way he stares back at me, his expression so unreadable, suddenly makes me feel more uncomfortable. Do I really have to do what Rumpel says? I step in front of the man and set down his tray, my eyes still on his. I do not have to follow Rumpel's advice, but for some reason my lips quirk. The smile on my lips, though, lasts all of half a second. Are you okay? The best choice is to attempt to flirt, though I can feel Rumpel smiling at my back. If this were anyone else but him, I would think it was some kind of prank. But considering this is the way Rumpel acts all the time, maybe he really is just trying to help me. No. I try to recall how he flirted with his customers before. I couldn't help but notice you were alone, sir. I'm always alone. I heard something far too loudly in my chest. What kind of things does Rumpel usually say? Madam, you're the most beautiful thief I've ever met, for it is you who's stolen my heart and stolen my gaze. Your eyes are more captivating than the stars, my sweet. If I could, I would stare into them forever and lose myself in their majesty. You remind me of a rose with thorns, but the thorns are what makes the rose so alluring. All he does is spout complimentary gibberish. I'll try to do the same. How is it you'd always be alone when you have such lovely eyes? The customer stares at me, baffled. I force myself to continue. Your eyes remind me of the leaves in fall as they flutter beneath the bright gaze of the sun, and... I stop. The words, nothing more than a shallow lie, make me feel strangely hollow. The man's just staring at me, but he looks uncomfortable. Still, I do not think he's anywhere near as uncomfortable as I am. Ma'am? Perhaps you would... My voice trails off. I bite my lips so hard I can taste something metallic. The man's expression is a mixture of awe and perplexity. I immediately turn away from him and walk off. Yeah, that's... That's about right. My whole face is hot and I can feel anger boiling deep inside of me. Princess, leave me alone. Princess, we're not done. I don't care. I ignore everyone's gazes as I make my way as quickly as I possibly can up the stairs into my room. There I collapsed on my bed and lay there with my arms outstretched. Why would I have ever even thought of taking Rumpel's advice? Hours go by, and eventually I realized that it's time to help Anise with the night chores. Now I'm helping her restock some of the bottles that Waltz and Karma brought back from town. I hope Anise does not mention what happened earlier today. I slip out of bed and head down to the main area of the tavern. The room's mostly quiet by the time I go downstairs. Parfait and Delora are talking to each other at a table. Karma passes me by as I walk downstairs. He looks exhausted and oddly frustrated. I make my way over to Anise, who's already putting bottles on the shelves. We can actually see the inside of the tavern at night. We never see this. It's always the fucking, like, break room or, like, outside. We never actually see this in the night. I really like it. Oh, Princess. Oh, Princess, are you okay now? I'm fine now. What did you need me to do? Anise explains how restocking works. She shows me the labels on the shelves and explains that the empty spots are where the new bottles go. I mean, that's pretty fucking self-explanatory. It's not a hard job, and one I can easily do without thinking too hard. You also, however, have to look at the labels on the things, and if there are labels on the shelf, you need to also make sure those labels match. For a while, the only sounds that can be heard in the market are bottles clinking against each other. Underneath that is the murmuring between Parfait and Delora. I have no idea what they're talking about, but they look so serious, so it must be something important. Sorry, I keep yawning, that's why there's so many pauses. So, Princess, could I ask what life was like at the palace? Right. She can't remember working in the palace before. I don't mean to pry, I was just trying to make conversation. I'd rather not. Oh, okay. Be nice to her. Eventually, Parfait and Delora stand from their seats and move to another room to continue their conversation. Anise breaks the silence again. The tavern's nice when it's quiet like this, isn't it? You can hear the sounds outside if you open a window. Yes, that would be nice. My hands move stiffly, placing bottles on shelves by a label. All I want to do is get the work done and then return to my room. Good lord, I consider myself an introvert, but if someone is trying to make conversation with me, I will respond and be like, oh, you know, this, that, and the other, or whatever the fuck. It was like this at the old place I used to work. I was hired by a rich family to be their maid. Their mansion was a beautiful place. You could hear the crickets if you were by the windows on the bottom floor. Seems like her memory's been twisted by my curse, so she can't remember working at the palace. All she remembers is working for a rich family. It was a nice place, Princess. There was a girl close to my age that had a radiant smile. A radiant smile. She must be talking about Emmeline. The head of the mansion is a really kind man, and she grows suddenly quiet, a look of confusion coming to her face. She pauses and then shakes her head. I can't seem to remember everyone that was there, but I'm pretty sure they were all good people. At least, I'd like to think so. I was just a bad maid. She was, because of her, Delora's dress was torn. That doesn't make her a bad maid. But whatever, Miss Pompous Rich Asshole. I was too ashamed to tell one of my mistresses that I couldn't save her doll. Save her doll? Anise looks down, her smile wistful. I was fired on my first day because I couldn't save one of the mistress's dolls. I was uncleaning her shelves that day, and when I went in, I saw a crow had come in through the open window and was pecking at one of the dolls. I shooed it away, but it was too late. The doll had a little rip in its dress, and I was fired for not doing my job properly. See? She didn't even do it! Anise didn't even do it! It was a fucking bird! Oh my god! So it wasn't Anise who ripped Delora's dress, but a bird? Is Is this why Laura insisted Anise deserves an apology? Yes! Because it was a fucking bird that tore the dress, not Anise! What happened after you were fired? Lady Parfait found me on the streets. I couldn't go back to my aunt's house, not after what happened. She never liked me anyway. Anise's face clouds briefly with sorrow, but the expression is short-lived. I can never forget the day I met Lady Parfait. I told her I'd be able to help her and anyone else that got sick. That I can even do all the cooking since I've been making meals for my father since I was a young girl. I begged her to take me in, and she did. I owe Lady Parfait a lot. Why didn't you go back to your father after you were fired? My father passed away a while ago. My mother died giving birth to me. Ooh, that's rough, buddy. My father was an herbalist, and he taught me a lot while he was still with me. So, before Rumpel came in, I helped Lady Parfait with herbal remedies. So you have no one. That's what I thought, but now I have everyone here. The Markin's my family now. Family. Princess, we're all happy to have you here too. You really help out around the market, and I can tell Rumpel's happy to have you as a partner. The memory of what happened today slowly seeps back into my mind. I cannot help the irritation bubbling up inside me. I know he's a little overwhelming, but I'm pretty sure Rumpel's really just trying to help you, just like he's helping Lady Parfait. I wouldn't be so sure about that. It's not the same thing at all. Two of us continue working until Anise makes another wistful comment. The place I worked before this, it felt like there was warmth in that gigantic home, but it was stifled. That place isn't warm at all. I speak the words without even meaning to. Anise looks up at me curiously. The king suddenly started speaking to me when Mother died, but it was never enough. Before that, he was cold and distant, and even now he favors his new wife and children over me. There were people, but they all wore fake smiles, and my father, he was the worst of them all. I may as well have never existed to him. Princess, I'm sorry. For what? You're talking about the palace, right? The king always seemed so nice. He put his kingdom before his children. Anise fidgets nervously. I'm sorry. Apologies are not going to change the past. Sometimes apologizing seems like all we can do when we can't change something that's already happened. Exactly. I think about Anise who tried to save my doll and the way I fired her that day. Yeah, bitch! It wasn't even her, it was a bird! Rumpel told me once that all I had to do was listen to people to sympathize with them. Could that also be true for finding out the truth? Yes! All I can do to make up for what I did to her is... Hold on, I think it's apologize, but I don't know for sure. Yes, apologize to Anise. I'm sorry. Huh? Anise looks at me, clearly shocked. She stares for a few moments before I scowl at her. And this is why you can never make friends. Staring is rude. Oh, I was just... Why are you apologizing to me, Princess? It's for something I did that you wouldn't remember. That I wouldn't remember? You should tell me. I promise I wouldn't hold it against you. It's not important. Anise's eyes are suddenly downcast, and no matter the attempt, her smile isn't as bright as it once was. I quickly finish stacking the bottles on the shelves. I'm done. Anise turns looking with an unusually tired expression on her face. Thank you for listening to me, Princess, and for telling me a little bit about yourself, too. I feel like I might have said too much. I do not respond to Anise, but instead choose to head out the front door. Anise asks where I'm going, but I just ignore her. I think about heading to town, but then reconsider. I decide to head to the forest instead. I make my way to the forest clearing. In the dark, everything feels a lot more comfortable. Here, I do not have to pretend to listen to anyone, and I do not have to talk about myself. I settled down on a rock and stare up at the sky. I apologize, but Anise did not even understand my apology. And even now, I still cannot bring myself to trust those at the Marken. I sigh and find myself speaking aloud. Maybe I am the Ice Princess. Ah, but have you seen the beautiful sculptures that can be made from ice, Princess? I turn to see Rumpel walking toward me, a broad grin on his face. Ice always sparkles in the sun. It glistens and stands so proudly where it's been sculpted. I stare at Rumpel blankly. He sighs and shakes his head. I'm sorry, that one was particularly bad, wasn't it? He sits down beside me and his grin falters a little bit. Oh, this is a nice shot. I have no white lilies to give you this time, my sweet princess, but I'll offer anything else you would need for me to apologize for my advice earlier today. I can offer anything, my words, my body. I cut Rumpel off as I'm not in the mood for his usual behavior. You're always like this. All you ever do is flirt. Any meaningful thing you try to say is lost in the flattery you constantly give to people. It's shallow. You're right. What? I stare at him. Rumpel's still smiling, but it's not the same confident grin he wore earlier. Somewhere deep in my memories, I remember someone telling me off just like this. Many people enjoy flattery, Princess, and a lot of people are receptive to flirting, but nothing can measure up to a genuine compliment. But I stand by what I said before, in that making a person happy is a good deed. Look, I'll show you. Rumpel shifts so that he's looking right at me, and I notice his smile's gone. What is tell him off? Cora, of all the women I've met, you're the most straightforward and honest. Many do not have the courage or the confidence to exhibit those qualities. And that's why I admire you, and why I will always take your words to heart, because I know you will always speak the truth. I look into Rumpel's eyes, which still have a gentle shimmer despite the darkness. For a few moments, his words float around in my head. No one's ever called my bluntness honesty before, and no one's ever complimented me for it. Rumpel told me before that I deserve to be spoiled. Maybe it's because he sees things I do in a more positive light. He sees the things I do in a more positive light. There we go. I can read. My, you're struck speechless by that, aren't you? You look cute with your cheeks so rosy, my sweet princess. I glare at him and Rumpel just laughs in response. I put a hand to my cheek, suddenly self-conscious. Rumpel smiles at me, but it's not the usual playful smile. Right now, he almost looks serious. Did he mean what he just said? Tell him off. Why did you have to be so dramatic when you gave me that compliment? I was dramatic? I cross my arms and Rumpel grins at me. I can't help it, princess. I'm dramatic by nature. A compliment is, in some ways, a performance. So you did not mean what you said. No, I did. I swear I did. I was trying to show you that how making a person happy could be a good deed. Complimenting a person on appearance is easier than complimenting them on their demeanor. You have to know a person for that. I meant what I said, princess, and I swear that wasn't just me trying to weave spectacular words together. Earlier, I bet you made Anise happy, too. You were spying on our conversation? I would never! I just happened to be making my way down the stairs very slowly. You don't even know what I was apologizing for. No, but you thought you had to after you listened to her, didn't you? I listen far more than you do. Princess, you shattered my heart so many times there are permanent cracks. But do not worry, the cracks in my heart allow even more of you to make your way into it. Rumpel awkwardly laughs when I remain silent. Anyway, there are different kinds of listening, princess. Listening to sympathize is one kind. Trying to put yourself in someone's shoes, trying to understand them, that is one of those ways. Then there's the kind of listening that is shallow. One pretends to listen without ever letting the words into their heart. Words are fickle things. Mother always told me that people lie and that they would say whatever benefited them. It's foolish to trust words. What if Anise had been lying to me? Why would I put so much blind faith into people? Because more often than not, people are good, Princess. I wouldn't be so sure about that. I let out an exasperated sigh. Sometimes I can't tell if I'm angry or confused by Rumpel. Ah, what a beautiful sound. It was as if the sweet wind itself was gently tickling my ear. I slide away from him and scowl. Your scowl is adorable too, and you have such delicate lips. Right. I'm still convinced that his earlier compliment was just a lie. How can you say something genuine and then slide right back into this pitiful flattery? For a moment, silence falls, and I find to my surprise that it is not awkward being alone with Rumpel. Will you accept my apology for earlier? I promise I'll never try to get you to flirt with anyone ever again. Besides, if you flirted with another man and then grew fond of him, I'd be devastated. That would never happen. You didn't let me finish. I was gonna say that I would be devastated because that would mean that your heart belongs to someone else, and my heart belongs to no one. I will steal it like a thief in the night. That will also never happen. If not that, then I'll settle with making you smile, at least once. Because I'm sure you would shine as brightly as the sun if you smiled. You are unreasonably persistent. Love is a persistent endeavor, Princess. A man in love stops at nothing to win over the woman he so adores. Then you must be in love with many women. I stand up. I would appreciate you just complimenting me when you mean it. But Princess, I mean every one of my compliments. I have no energy to chastise him right now, but at least I no longer have that anger inside from earlier. It's been a long day and I'm going to bed. Would you like company? I didn't mean... Good night, Rumpel. Good night, Princess Cora. I make my way back to the tavern, feeling surprisingly light. Still, even if Rumpel's words might make me happier than I care to admit, he's not doing a very good job of helping me with my curse. I might have to do this on my own after all. What happened to the music? There it is. Chapter 5, The Doctor. We're about halfway through! What a brilliant day! The sun's shining, the town's full of laughter, and I have my sweet princess here to accompany me. I can't help but groan at Rumpel's optimism. Because we were both sent out to run errands. Because everyone thinks we'd make a wonderful couple. No, because we're partners. Partners, a couple, it may well be the same thing. Half the time Rumpel says some deep things, and then he says things like that. It's like he has two personalities. No, it's not the same thing at all. Take out the list and scour for the things we need to buy. More than half of it's already crossed out. I glance at the bags Rumpel is carrying. He refuses to let me carry any of them, insisting it would be impolite to force the load on me. That leaves me with list duty. This is a lot more laid back than what I have to do at the market. Okay, now we have the general medicine restock for Anise. My area of expertise. Never fear, my sweet princess. I will find everything we need. We already have a list. But Rumpel just hums enthusiastically as we continue on our way, and I'm not entirely sure if he heard me or not. We arrive at the little medicine shop in the central plaza. A man exits through the front door, coughing so loudly people turn their head to stare at him. I wait for the man to pass so that I can open the door to the store, but then I notice that Rumpel hasn't budged beside me at all. Also, I don't know if he had long hair when he was a doctor, but I feel like he would have had to tie it up when, you know, treating people. His eyes do a quick scan of the man before he slowly begins to walk toward him. Sir, you're sick. What's it to you? Even if I was sick, lad, there's nothing I can do if I don't have any money. Besides, it's not like this will kill me. It's just a cough. How long have you had your cough, sir? It seems like such a minor thing, but Rumpel suddenly looks so serious about it. He looks at the man with his eyes slightly narrowed, as if trying to see past him. It's been with me for more than 3 days. Coughs are pesky things, aren't they? They're usually the last thing to go, but at least they're not deadly most of the time. Even if you can't buy the medicines, sir, there are other at-home remedies that might help you with your cough. Boy, I've already tried warm tea. My wife's given me enough of that. Water's good for your throat too, sir. Any kind of steam works too. If the cough is riddled with mucus, it'll be easier to expel with steam. When you can't afford the medicine, sometimes the simple things will help, and coughs stay for a while, so don't fret if you can't get rid of yours immediately. Well, I appreciate the advice. Not exactly what a doctor would tell me, but it'll have to do. The man thanks Rumpel before walking off. I noticed Rumpel looking down at the ground, a rather forlorn expression on his face. Is what he said true? About what, Princess? About doctors not giving advice about at-home remedies. And most of the doctors don't believe in such things. They always think that medicines work better than at-home or herbal remedies. The medicines do help, but sometimes they aren't necessary. Yet you just gave him advice. Not everyone can afford medicine. Being a doctor means helping people, not taking advantage of their sickness to steal their money. Money was never a problem at the palace. Whenever I was sick, the palace staff made sure I had the best and most effective medicines. Do you remember what you were like as a doctor? I wanted to help everyone that showed up at my doorstep. Sometimes I couldn't, and it frustrated me. I prescribed medicines when necessary, gave advice at other times, and when things were dire, I performed small operations. He would have definitely had to put his hair up for that. He does seem a lot more serious when he's talking about health. Rumpel was silent for a few moments before his eyes light up once again. Anyway, shall we go stock up on our medicine? I thought you said medicine wasn't always helpful. Because it's not, but I also know that Anise uses mostly herbs and that she tries to handle things without too much medication. She's quite capable. We enter the shop, and in no time at all, Rumpel spots the items on our list. We use up the rest of our money to buy the medicines and remedies that we need, and then we begin to head back to the tavern. On the way there, Rumpel strikes up a conversation again. So, Princess, have you given any thought to what I said before? About what? You've already forgotten? About making people happy! What? You know you could make me happy right here and now by giving me a kiss on the cheek. I stared blankly at him before walking away. No, thank you. And alas, my hopes are dashed again. Bro, just stop fucking trying. Seriously, just stop. Like, actually stop. It's really fucking annoying, and it's disgusting. When we're at the outskirts of town, I pause and turn around. It's as if I can feel eyes at my back, but I don't see anyone openly staring at me. Is someone watching me? Suddenly I feel warmth in my hand, then fingers interlace through mine. Rumpel pulls me a little closer, his expression oddly gentle. Don't worry, my sweet princess. You're safe with me. Suddenly his face is a lot closer to mine, and I can see his features more closely. It's like the night in the forest, except his face is not marred by the same shadows. There's caution in his eyes, but it's not directed at me. Did you see someone following you? No, I just thought I felt someone looking at me. Better stay together, then. We begin walking again. The two of us begin to head back to the market. Rumpel has all the bags in one hand now. He hums a little as we walk. It's remarkably peaceful, so much so that I don't even mind him holding my hand. It suddenly feels a lot safer. I'm so lost in reverie that I don't even notice when we turn and go in the opposite direction. This is not the way back to the market. On the contrary, it's just a more scenic path. Don't you like the forest, princess? The shafts of light coming through the canopies, the soft blades of grass that tickle your ankles. It's such a romantic place. No matter what he says, this does not lead back to the market. It's not a scenic path or a path at all. I believe this one is stop walking. Yes. I instantly root myself in place, and even though Rumpel is far taller than me and far stronger, he stops after noticing that I am no longer walking. Oh, princess, did you want to stop and admire the scenery? Why are you taking me through here? I don't care about scenery, and I don't care about walking anywhere with you. Ah, princess, your honesty really is a treasure. One day I'll make it so you enjoy going places with me, not just holding my hand. I quickly slide my hand out of his, my face feeling somewhat hot. Ah, there's the sweet rosiness to your cheeks. You never answered my question. It's a detour. We're only going to be here for a few minutes. If you thought you saw someone's eyes on you, then it's better to divert their attention away from the market. And before you say it's dangerous, yes, it is. But we're still not far enough away from town to worry about safety. And I believe I can protect you. Won't you compliment my cleverness, sweet princess? He takes a step forward, bridging the short distance between us, and then suddenly his fingers are around my wrist again. But he does not lace his fingers through mine. Instead, he takes my hand in his, and then pulls it up to his face. Before I realize it, my hand is on his cheek, his hand cupping my own. Princess, you can trust me. Always. I mean, I can sense that sometimes you trust me and sometimes you don't. But you don't need to be so cautious around me. I shower you with compliments because I believe you deserve them. I tell you that I enjoy being around you because I do. I should be focusing on his words, but I can look at his eyes. He does have really nice purple eyes. What do I need to do for you to fully trust me? Mother told me that people lie, so how can I trust that everything he says is the truth? Perhaps if I stopped throwing compliments at you, you would not be you without all the compliments. What am I saying? I always complain about his compliments, but the thought of Rumpel without compliments is strange. So you do enjoy my compliments, sweet princess. No, What? Words have deserted you? I understand. Being so close to me would have that effect on any woman. Bro, just stop. It's like, what the fuck is his name? Tamaki from Oron High School Host Club? I think that's his fucking name. It's like that. It's like, dude, just shut the fuck up. Seriously. Something bright and angry flares up inside me, something I don't understand. I pull my hand away from him and a scowl on my face. Was it my big mouth again, princess? Come on, let's go back to the market. I start walking ahead and Rumpel rushes to catch up with me. I clench my fingers and let out a silent sigh. Rumpel was being nice to me again, but I always reject his kindness. 'Cause it can't be real. I mean, I would agree in a normal, like, setting, but this is not a normal setting, so, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's 8:30 at night. I need to finish this and, get it uploaded and stuff. I don't know if I'll even have time to do another video tonight. Days go by, I consider Rumpel's advice, but I refuse to flirt with anyone again. But I have no idea how to make anyone happy. Rumpel told me that I could not make anyone happy without knowing anything about them and listening to them like I did with Anise, but what reason do I have to listen to people? This is so frustrating. Days later, Rumpel and I sit at a table, waiting for our work orders. Rumpel's on the verge of conversation when we suddenly hear Parfait speaking in the doorway. Rumpel picks up on the words before I do and rushes over to the front door. He looked almost nervous. Who's at the door? I excuse myself briefly, telling Anise I'll be back. I make my way over to the front door, and there I see 3 people in conversation. There's Rumpel, Parfait, and a very pale man. The pale man looks like death itself, like he just might keel over. I can help him. Rumpel. He needs help. He can stay in my room instead. I can even restock the medicines on my own if need be, so please, let me help him. There's a desperation in Rumpel's eyes that I've never seen before. He looks at Parfait pleadingly, all the while holding the man by the shoulder to steady him. I guess it did say he was pretty pale and looked like death itself, but like, is he... I don't know, man. I don't know. What is happening? Oh, princess, the man heard about Rumpel through one of the men at the tavern. He's sick and doesn't have a lot of money to pay for treatment. He came here seeking Rumpel. He must have been able to find this place because he was cursed. Does he even have the money to pay? Rumpel turns to me with a frown on his face. I've never seen him look at me so sternly. Princess, you remember what I told you before. He was insistent that a doctor's #1 priority was to help their patient regardless of their monetary situation. Take him to your room then, Rumpel. I'll have Anise assist you if she's willing. No, Anise does not need to worry herself. I think she'd want to help you. Are you sure? The two cut their discussion short when the man starts coughing, a terrible hacking cough that paralyzes him. Rumpel steadies him and then begins to slowly move him towards his room. Don't worry, Princess. He'll be fine. What? I can see the worry on your face. Rumpel will be fine. Why would I worry about Rumpel? Because it's not like you to worry about someone you don't know at all. He looked so alarmed. I've never seen Rumpel look like that before. It's not like him. Rumpel knows what he's doing. I'll have someone else assist you with serving today, so no worries. Parfait comes through on her promise. When I go back to the bar, both Anise and Rumpel are gone. Karma, or Miss Karma, is there instead, looking disgruntled. Waltz would be better at this. Why do I have to help? Because Waltz is busy doing his puppet shows, and Rumpel's helping a sick man. Oh, well, I guess there's nothing to do about this then other than enjoy it. He flips his hair and smiles brilliantly. I'll attract all the customers today. Perhaps we should have a competition, Princess. Compete with yourself. I'm really not in the mood for karma right now. Then I shall definitely compete with myself, because challenging yourself is important. It's true. Sorry about that. Karma picks up waiting tables fairly easily. I notice that he speaks very fondly to the girls, but they're not as receptive as they are with Rumpel. Many times I ask Karma where Rumpel is, and he seems agitated when he tells them that Rumpel is busy. They seem just as irritated. Once my break starts, I meet Karma at the bar. He looks depressed. I guess if he and Rumpel had competed to woo girls, he would win. Darling, if I were to shed my disguise right here and now, I would be the clear victor. Since without this disguise, women would flock to me. It's rather uncomfortable to have every woman in Angeal fall in love with you. You look like you're judging me, Princess. Because I am. If only you understood my plight. Well, we learned about it in our first series of this, so if you want to go watch that, check it out. Karma and Rumpel may speak similarly, but they're still so different. Karma's the type to complain, and Rumpel never complains. He's ever working himself to someone else, just like he went out of his way to apologize to me many times. My heart sinks a little bit as I think of him and Anise helping out the sick man. Rumpel didn't even want Anise going up there, so he probably wouldn't want me up there either. I could try and go visit him, or I could go back to my room. I believe this is the right choice. Let me double check that. Yeah, this is correct. I think I'll go check on him. Check on Rumpel? I hadn't realized I was speaking aloud. I look at Karma, who furrows his eyebrows at me slightly. I honestly don't know how you can stand him as a partner. I don't know how we're doing it either, buddy. Trust me. Why do you dislike Rumpel so much? A lot of things, Princess, but that fight is between us and doesn't involve you. Then do not involve me. You have no need to comment on us being partners. Herman looks at me wide-eyed and a little shocked, then a sort of knowing comes into his eyes and he smiles, just a little bit. Yes, I think you should go visit him, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to get him off your mind, would you? He laughs a little before picking up his tray and rushing off to continue his shift. I slowly make my way upstairs, my feet feeling heavy. For some reason, I feel like Karma was right. I make my way over to what I think is Rumpel's door. The door is slightly ajar and I hear hushed voices on the other side. Those voices definitely belong to Anise and Rumpel. I slowly push the door open and quietly step inside. Rumpel and Anise are standing over their aunt, who's covered in blankets and coughing. A series of bottles sit on the table close by. None of the herbal remedies are working. We need medicine for this. I'm sorry, I don't have any more money to offer, Rumpel. Anise, please don't sound so sad. You've already tried helping as much as you possibly can. It's my fault for promising to buy the medicine that we need. I glance at the table where the list is sitting. Beautiful cursive handwriting details everything that the patient needs. Everything's circled except for some medicine at the very bottom that has a star next to it. Is that Rumpel's handwriting? Suddenly the two of them turn. They both look shocked to see me. Princess, what are you doing here? I came to see how you were doing. Princess, I'm fine, but... Glances down at the man on the bed, and he sighs out a little bit. We've given him what we can, but the one medicine that we need is something we can't afford. Even with the money I'm getting from Lady Parfait, it isn't enough. I walk into the room and glance at the list. I look over at the total for the medicine, and then at the coins on the table that I hadn't noticed before. Did Rumpel use all his money for this stranger? What will happen if you don't get this medicine? Without this, the infection will spread and he goes silent as the man starts coughing again. I can read the answer in his eyes, even if he won't say it. The man could be in terrible danger. He could even die. Rumpel looks defeated. He doesn't look like himself at all. I glance at the coins again and then at the list. Without a second thought, I grab the list and the coins. Huh? Princess, what are you... I'll be back. I leave the room, even with the niece and Rumpel protesting behind me. I make my way to my room, where I pick up the bag of coins that the king gave me when I went to the palace on the day I was cursed. Then I head for the door. I immediately head for the medicine store that we always frequent. I count the coins that I need to buy the medicine. This will take a lot of my money, but it wasn't as if I was going to use it for anything else. I rush back to the market with the medicine in a little bag, hoping that this is the one Rumpel needs. It's dark by the time I get back to the market. I make my way to Rumpel's room again and notice that he's sitting on a stool beside the patient's bed, looking at him forlornly. When I enter the room, his eyes go wide. He seems even more surprised when I hand him the bag. Princess, is this... He opens the bag and lets the little vial roll onto his hand. Oh. How did you buy this? I combined your total with the money I had left. Rumpel just stares at me, clearly flabbergasted, then his expression morphs into something softer, more relieved. He steps forward and suddenly his arms are around me. Ugh. He grips me tightly and then I hear his voice in my ear. Thank you so much, Princess Cora. My heartbeat picks up slightly. It's so loud I think Rumpel might hear it, but when he pulls away he does not say anything. I have to thank you for this later, Princess, but for now you should leave. I don't want you to get sick. I'm too dazed to disagree. I nod my head quietly before moving stiffly toward the door. I glance back at Rumpel one last time, noticing that he's checking the man's temperature. And when I leave the room, a flash of light emanates from my chest. I absently touch the glass slipper at my neck and then pause as I stare down at it. I feel a soft gasp leave my lips when I notice the fragment of a second slipper. Is this the first one we've gotten? Are you for real? Oh my god. The other two better come quickly because we're halfway through this fucking route. Jesus. I got my first good deed. It's only the first? We're like halfway through the chapter. Or route. Oh my god. Like I said, the other two better come quickly because... Seriously? Halfway through the story and we get our first one? Oh lord. I bought the medicine for Rumpel, but I only added in a few more coins to buy it. So what I did today was considered a good deed, yes. I'm confused, but at the same time I'm pleased that I actually managed to get a good deed. Now I need 2 more. They better fucking come quickly because Jesus fucking Christ. The next day I go down to the tavern area to begin my work, but I'm there a little early. Waltz is working on his puppets at a table, eyebrows furrowed in concentration. When I walk in, he looks up at me and smiles. Then he raises his eyebrows. Princess, congratulations! You got your first good deed. I did. I knew you could do it. I nod in response. His praise makes me feel oddly proud. I continue my usual work, keeping an eye out for Rumpel as I work my shift, but he never appears. A few days go by, and it's only after the man leaves, looking a lot healthier and stable than he was before, that I finally see Rumpel. Ugh. He and the man speak at the front door to the tavern. No, really, sir, I couldn't take anything from you. Nonsense! You saved my life. I need to pay you back somehow. The man's holding money out to Rumpel, but Rumpel just shakes his head. I notice that there are dark circles under his eyes and that he looks tired. I didn't help you for the money. But I insist! That money could be spent on better things, like your family. You may not take my money, but I promise I will pay you back. Your health is all the reward I need, I promise. I can't thank you enough. After the man leaves, I approach Rumpel. He turns to me and leans against the door, his smile still tired but bright. Ah, princess, come to heal my weary body, perhaps? I would so love another hug. My face becomes hot at the memory of Rumpel's hug from the other day. Ah, the natural rouge of your cheeks is so sweet, princess. It makes me feel infinitely better. And your necklace seems different. I reach up to touch the pendant. Every time I get a good deed, a piece gets added to my necklace. Oh, right, you helped me with the medicine the other day. Of course that was a good deed, princess. It was very selfless of you. Thank you again for that. Man tried to thank you too, but you refused his money. Why? And why did you spend your money on him? Because life is invaluable, princess. No amount of money could ever be more important than a person's life. Even if it's someone you don't know? Yes, because everyone has a life, princess. They have loved ones, families, sweethearts. And if I can help them, I will. And I'll gladly spend any amount of money to do so. Okay, fine, but why did you not accept any money from that man? Because no amount of money... You needed that money. How are you going to buy more medicines without any money? Rumpel's eyes hardened. He was clearly not expecting me to ask that question. But he said before he didn't have much money, and it was true. I can't take money from him when he doesn't have much of it to begin with. I mean, that's fair. I totally get that. But, like, you spent at least 72 hours with that person. Like, you... I don't know, man. He's not wrong, but still, it's like, if you... Say if you were running it as a business, because you did have a clinic at some point before all of this. You need that money to be able to continue paying employees, or to be able to continue to pay for, like, whatever, you know, items you need. Like, for example, if he had a receptionist, he would need to pay that receptionist. If he needed more, like, say if this were in a modern setting, if he needed more, like, vaccines, he would need money to buy those so he could give them to people again. Like, it's... I understand where he's coming from. And I don't mean like, oh yeah, he should be greedy like the American healthcare system, because no, that's stupid. That's not okay. That's not right. But like, when you're running a business, you do need money to continue running that business, or your business will go under and you will no longer have your business. He was thanking you with money. You should have accepted it. Parfait pays you, does she not? Rumpel's shoulders sag when he sighs. Yes, even though I won't accept the money from her face-to-face, she has to... Yes, even though I won't accept the money from her face-to-face, she has to sneak it into my wallet. If she does that, why not just accept it from her? I'm trying to make a statement, princess. And Parfait does not seem to care because she sneaks the money into your wallet regardless. You have a point there. You're stubborn. We both are. Now, I have a question. Why did you use your money on that man? You knew nothing about him. Did you do it for him? For yourself? Or for me, perhaps? Rumpel grins at me mischievously. Even with the tired eyes, I can still see the bright cheer in them. Hit the nail right on the head again. Hit the nail right on the head. Again, you're becoming easier to read, my sweet princess. Well, no matter why you did it, thank you. That medicine was necessary to help that man. I still think you should have accepted the money from him. You helped him, and he did him a service no one else would. You should have accepted his gratitude. Princess, I told you. I crossed my arms and frowned at him. You're so stubborn. Rumpel's smile falters and he just looks at me sadly, almost guiltily. For some reason, the sight of him in such a state makes my heart sink. Wipe off that frown. You look better with a smile. Rumpel stares at me, shocked. Why is he staring at me like that? You like my smile? What? I didn't say... You like my smile, and you complimented it too, princess. You have no idea how much this means to me. Rumpel throws his hands in the air. I resist the urge to roll my eyes at this exaggerated reaction. I still would have been like, bro, chill. You get compliments all the time from women. Yes, but none as honest as yours. A compliment is valuable because I know you absolutely meant it. So I will keep those words close to my heart because they're precious to me. It wasn't anything like the spectacular comments he gives, yet he still looks so happy. You two seem to be getting along. Parfait appears behind us with a smile on her face. Sorry to interrupt, but Karma is slowly drowning in table work. Will you help him? Yes, of course. Rumpel looks disappointed as I'm sent back to the bar, where Karma expresses immediate relief that I'm back. Rumpel retires to his room early that day, and is given the days off. And he's given the day off. Jesus. Both Delora and Parfait can see the tiredness on his face just like I can. He does not reappear for the rest of the day. At the end of my shift, I retire to my room. Oh, my eye itches. When I get downstairs the next morning, I'm met with a familiar sight. Both Karma and Rumpel stand on opposite sides of a table, their voices rising in an argument. They're fighting again? I happen to catch their words as I walk quietly down the stairs. Who are you to criticize my work ethic when you were gone for several days, leaving me with your workload? It wasn't like I wanted to, and who are you to criticize how I work? All the ladies I spoke to said that you showered them with compliments. What kind of professional behavior is that? I'm having a hard time believing you're professional with the way that you flaunt yourself. At least I don't flirt with people to attract their attention. And you flirt with them and don't even realize the effect it has on other people. Flattery is not a crime. Just yesterday, the princess came to see you in your room, all because you gave her the impression that you liked her. Were you actually spying on her, and you call me uncouth? No, I overheard her say it. And you're wrong. I never say things if it isn't truthful. Ah, then the truth of the matter is that you must be in love with many women. Because they all seem to think that you'll get down on one knee and propose to them. You say some sly things, Miss Karma, and yet you're the biggest liar of us all. At least I don't lie to my partner. I think the right thing to do is defend him. Yes. Rumpel tells me that he never lies. He tells me that he wants me to trust him. Though I still find it hard to believe, I do want to trust him. I walk down the rest of the stairs and stop at Rumpel's side. Both men look equally surprised to see me there. Rumpel has never lied to me yet. Karma looks up and stares at me for a few moments, looking startled by my sudden appearance. Then he sighs. Princess, a man that flatters everyone doesn't flatter anyone. At least he's not so conceited that he flatters himself constantly. Such a sharp tongue you have, princess. And you're very quick to jump to assumptions. You two are at it again? Urian steps to the table in front of them. Both men glance away from her cold gaze. Karma remembers something before excusing himself. Rumpel looks down at the table, his eyebrows knit together with frustration. What is wrong with you two? Why can't you just be civil with each other? Urian, you're never here to see how these fights start. Karma is every bit a beast attacking me for no good reason at all, but with your keen eye you should be able to discern that, right? flattery won't work on me, Rumpel. And second, I doubt these fights start without any bit of prompting from you. I swear I don't start anything. Karma's just always irritable. He's like a woman during that time of the month. Jesus fucking Christ. Ugh. Jiren walks away stiffly, leaving me with Rumpel. I look at him a little irritated by his earlier comment. He gives me a sheepish smile. Jesus, I can read. Thank you, Princess. For what? For defending me. I swear I meant what I said. I'd never lie to you. I mean every one of my compliments, every one of my thank yous. You must know that since you came to defend me. Rumpel, sometimes you continue talking when nothing needs to be said. But I'm just expressing the depths of my gratitude. It's not necessary. It's such a small thing, too. Princess, can you give me some help with inventory? I just got down here to help with serving. What do you mean? Jesus fucking Christ. It's like actually me at work. Like, I'll just start doing something. And then I'll have one of the managers come over to me and be like, hey, can you help me with this? And I'm like, fucking fine. And then I start doing another thing. And then a different manager comes over and asks me to do another thing. And I'm just like, ah. I'm coming. As I turn away, Rumpel waves. I'll see you later, Princess. Who knows, you might get your second good deed. I resist the urge to roll my eyes. Feels like it'll be a while yet before I can achieve my next good deed. And we're gonna end this here. We're at chapter 6 now. I'm gonna save real quick. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna... He's doing his fucking bit again. Jesus. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more, hit the subscribe button, as well as the bell icon to get notified when I post. Sharing the video would be appreciated as well. I've got a link tree in the description that has links to all the places you can follow me. Instagram, Threads, what else? Tumblr, I think. I might not have my Tumblr down there. I don't remember. But it also has links to, like, Wattpad and my Throne wishlist. I do have a Throne wishlist. Although I might make that its own link underneath my videos because, having to scroll through so many links on Linktree can be kind of irritating, I know. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight